everyone, and welcome to the RV Inspection and Care podcast and video. I'm Dwayne. I'm a certified RV inspector, and today we're going to be talking about the state of the RV industry right now, where it is at this point. And it's true that more people own RVs now than ever before, but unfortunately, this expansion has taken place within mainly the last decade or so and rapidly expanded during the COVID pandemic. And that was not good because the pandemic caused all kinds of problems for RV manufacturers, essentially cutting their workforce in half in many cases and disrupting the parts supply chain dramatically. So as a result of that, a lot of poorly built RVs came out of the factory. And now we have lots of unhappy owners. There's a tremendous amount of negativity out there, especially on social media. If you go read that, a lot of discontent is being expressed there. So where do we go from here? And what can you do to make things better? Well, honestly, improvement is needed in every aspect of this industry if they intend to remain popular and not just go back to being a smaller industry. If the RV industry wants to remain mainstream, they've got to step things up. The first place on the list is the area that almost everybody loves to blame, and that is the RV manufacturers. There's just more blame there than you can imagine. And the truth is, often it's well-deserved. But not always, though. The truth is, there are some brands that are producing good products, products that are worth buying. But I can say there is a major issue in the RV industry right now, especially among manufacturers, that needs to be addressed. And that is their attention to customer service. Even if they're putting out a reasonable product, some of the brands are just not focusing on the customer anymore like they should. They're not doing everything they can to make the customer happy when issues and problems come up. And in fact, some brands are just not getting in front of major issues when they happen. Everybody knows that problems can come up in production and in industries. But when they do, the brands need to step up. They need to acknowledge it and they need to address it and get it fixed. And that way people can have confidence in the way they're being treated. But in many cases, that isn't happening. Now, that's some of the problems that we face with RV manufacturers, but there's also some good news in the industry on that respect, and that is that we have some innovative brands that are coming along here. Unfortunately, this industry is kind of a monkey see, monkey do industry, so everybody follows everybody. But there's a few brands that are stepping out and taking the lead right now, and I'm glad to see it. Because if they will do that, then many other brands will most likely follow them. At least that's what we are hoping at this point. Let's see. Next up on the list that needs to improve, and this is an area a lot of people don't complain about, interestingly, and it causes some of the biggest problems, is the suppliers of the RV industry. They need to step up and improve dramatically. Now, a lot of people think that RV manufacturers make everything that goes into an RV, but it's not true. Actually, they make the general RV itself, but the parts, the components, the appliances are often supplied to them by other companies. And the interesting truth is that many of the parts are being supplied by just a handful of major RV suppliers. And here's the truth about what they're putting out. In many cases, it's just poorly made. It needs to be better. These parts and components, they are breaking down long before they should. So when you go online and you read all the complaints about RV manufacturers and builders and all of that, interestingly, when I read them, I see that they're actually complaining in many cases not about the RV itself, but about the components, the appliances that are failing on them right and left. This is not the manufacturer's fault. This is the supplier's fault. But we do have an issue with communication between manufacturers and suppliers too. And the issue is that the industry's kind of got into a bad habit of just directing warranty work, people who need warranty work, to the supplier to get it done. Well, that's not what you see in almost any other industry. For instance, if you buy a car is made up of all kinds of parts that come from different suppliers. But when you have a part that fails under warranty, the auto manufacturer doesn't direct you to that supplier to get it fixed. They take care of it. And that's the way the RV industry needs to do it as well. They need to step up and handle warranty work and make sure it's done quickly and for the benefit of the customer. All right, next up on the list of things that need to improve is an area where I feel probably more improvement needs to be made than almost any other, and that is RV dealers. Now, the dealers that I see are often just focused on one thing. They just want to make the sale, whatever it takes to make that sale. And they're focused on the short-term profits at the expense of the long-term relationship. Well, that needs to change. Dealers need to focus on customer satisfaction, on making sure that people who buy RVs are happy with what they have bought and that it works for them. Unfortunately, instead, many dealers, and especially the nationwide chains, well, they have adopted sales tactics that come straight out of the car industry. Tactics that people have despised for years and years, and somehow they think that's going to be good for the RV industry. Instead, they need to be customer focused. They also need to take responsibility on their part because they are the ones that interact with the buyers. They need to take responsibility for educating the buyer as much as they can to be sure the buyer gets what's going to work for them, not take advantage of their limited knowledge when they come on the lot and force whatever the dealer wants on them and try to get as much money out of them as they possibly can because they just don't know better. The other thing is, as an RV inspector, I visit dealer lots on a regular basis and I go through a lot of new RVs. And I come in contact with a lot of salespeople. And the honest truth is, many salespeople in this industry just are not trained. They don't know what they need to know to help buyers get the right kind of RV. So salespeople need to be trained. That needs to improve in this industry. And they need to be, again, more customer focused rather than just sales focused. All right, next move on to the next area that needs improvement, and that is there is a huge need for trained and qualified RV technicians and service personnel. This is huge in the industry. This is one of the major reasons why when you bring your RV for service, it may take weeks or months to get it back, because there's just not enough trained people to go around and get it done in a timely manner. So service departments just back up and back up. Honestly, this is where a lot of frustration and irritation that's being expressed online is really coming from. So the industry as a whole must step up and do whatever is necessary to attract good quality trained personnel to be able to take care of these service issues. Well, those are a lot of issues and problems that the industry has, right? Well, what can you do about it? There are things that you really can do. Number one, I recommend that you do your best to get educated on RVs. There's a ton of education out here that's online. In fact, on my channel alone, there's over 200 videos about RVs and buying RVs and repairing them and RV life and all of those things. The more you are educated, the better decisions you're going to make. So do your best to get educated these days. Number two is buy the better brands. Don't listen to the people out there that are saying that all RVs are just garbage. No, it's not true. The truth is there are some good brands that are producing products that are well worth buying. Find out who those brands are and buy from them. This is important because if the buying public starts heading toward quality and refuses to buy poor products, well, that will make an impact on the RV industry and what they're doing. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this. First of all, I produced a lot of guidebooks on the categories of RVs to give you a good starting place for the better brands that you should be focusing on. So you could download those, and that's a quick and easy way to be educated on the subject. But I've also made a video recently on how the average person can learn how to spot better built RVs. And no matter what RV you go through, you can use the guidelines that I share with you, the tips and ideas to determine if it has been put together well or not. So either one of those ways will help you focus on better brands. The next point is use certified RV inspectors. You know, the latest information we have is that only 1 person out of 100 who buys RVs uses an RV inspector. That, my friends, is just not good enough. It doesn't make any sense to buy an RV without knowing pretty much hardly anything about it, take it home, find out about all the problems then, and then go online and trash the manufacturer. It's so much better to use an RV inspector, find out what the problems are before you take it home, and that way you can get them addressed. This leads us to the very next point that's actually probably the most important point that will help you make an impact on the industry. And that is when the RV inspector gives you the list of problems and issues for that RV, then make sure you get them fixed before you take ownership, before you complete the sale of the RV. And how does that help? Well, you see, you're forcing then the dealer and the manufacturer to fix all those issues on your timetable, not when it's convenient for them. This causes them some issues and problems. They don't like it. But the good news is that it sends a message. It sends a message to the industry that they need to change. So by forcing them to make these RVs right before they are actually taken home, you send a clear message to the entire industry. Now, the last point that I want to share is that until we get really good, trained, and qualified repair techs in the numbers we need them, then try to learn how to maintain and repair your RV yourself as much as you can. The honest truth is 80% of the things that go wrong in an RV can be fixed by the owner themselves with just a little guidance. And honestly, on YouTube today, there's more than enough videos to give you guidance on almost any RV repair. So try to learn how to maintain and repair your RV yourself. If you maintain it, you will avoid a lot of the service issues entirely that way. So that's a good way that you can protect yourself. Well, obviously, this industry needs to improve, and it needs to improve a lot to make RV ownership more pleasant, less stressful, to instill more confidence in the buying public in what it's doing. But this is not the full story. It's just part of it. There's another part of the story about how buyers of RVs need to be more educated and better educated, and ways to do that. And so we'll cover that in another video. But that's it for now. Have safe and happy travels, my friends. Until next time.